Well, welcome back. Have I got just a fantastic comic for you this week? Now, if you're here for my last video, you might remember me doing what's the opposite of glazing. I was ragging on this Team America bit. It just didn't look that interesting compared to a lot of the other covers. Some of the issues have been a little disappointing, including the last one we did with Iron Man in it. If they didn't put Iron Man in the cover, it wouldn't have been disappointing. It would have been like, oh, that's nice that he's in there. But this one, I wasn't expecting much. Not a lot going on in the cover. It doesn't reveal a lot. This is actually one of the best episodes so far. One of the best. I'd say my top 3 favorites are The Emperor of Texas, The Mayhem Crew, and this one. And it's fighting for second for me between that and The Mayhem Crew, I gotta tell you. Emperor of Texas was good too, because it was just so wacky and silly. Available here on the channel. But I don't know, this one, it's just one of those perfect comic stories, and there's really, I don't want to ruin it, so we're just going to have to get into it. But before we get into it, as always, trigger warnings. This being a kid's comic, there weren't too many. I could say cult activity, a little religious extremism, a little bit of drug usage, the fear of death. You actually see some people die in a fantasy type way. They're turned to dust. Looks kind of cool, but it's not really gory. Again, this stuff sounds bad when I'm saying this, but yeah, keep in mind it's child level. Like if you're watching Batman as a kid, the animated series, it's nothing worse than what you'd see in there. It's quite campy. Still, I know certain things people just don't want to hear about them, and if that was one of the things you don't want to hear about this week, don't sweat it. There'll always be more reviews. Such as next week when we're going to be looking at number 6 in the Wild Hunt series of Hellboy, and man, am I excited. Both these series are getting pretty close to the end, and I don't know, it's especially weird with Team America, because they're why I started the channel, was getting those comics. So once they're gone, we're going to have to find something else to fill that time slot, and man, do I have a lot of stuff I want to read. But I've eaten up enough of your time with the intro. Let's get to the video, and we can talk about it more after, huh? Okay, welcome to our main segment. So, this is the first time I can think that you actually see all of the members on here, including Marauder, if you include this little bit as him being on here. Well, I guess that's him in the background too, but that's more like an image. I did criticize this one a little last week. First, it being slightly off-center, which I believe the reason they did that is because the fold you get here with the spine, you commonly want your images to be a little more to one side than the other with your margin, so they'll center better. But it's kind of funny because like this character, full arm, this one no arm. And I'm saying this character because I wanted to bring up my last point. Who is who from left to right? Did you figure it out? I'm going to tell you. I think I know. This is Honcho. There's El Lobo, the Wolf. There's Reedy. There's Tex, and that one's Wrench. Or maybe this one's Tex and that one's Wrench. I don't know. It's like you got red one with blue wings and red star, and then you got red one with white wings and blue star. Oh, his mask is like, it's like, I kind of want to get all the covers and see if the colorings are even consistent, because I don't even see these guys with their organizational skills like, like, okay, Wolf has the blue helmet with the visor, but are they really all going to grab the right face mask every time? Especially how some of these guys are, I wouldn't be too surprised if they're sharing underwear. The other thing that stands off to me is that the handlebars, it looks like he's turning, but he's going straight. His legs are also kind of at a position that someone would be if they were stopped. But there's smoke as if there's moving, but there's smoke coming off the front too. I guess it's dust. It's a very romantic image nonetheless. So you go to the back and you have Super Cobra. Video game cartridge. Mission next to impossible. Your mission is to fly the Super Cobra helicopter, armed with only missiles and bombs, straight through the side of a mountain. There, the enemy waits with tanks, interceptor missiles, UFOs, meteors, and flying saucer weaponry. And the further in you go, the tougher it gets. Super Cobra, the arcade game that's now a home video game from Parker Brothers. This one's to beat. And I actually have this game, and I gotta tell you, it's not that good. You know, when I was a kid, we had Virtual On. And, God, I would still, I'm having 2 of those systems in my house. Nickels are free. Come play it with me, you know. Now, another thing that stood out to me about this ad is, first, I couldn't tell this was a helicopter by the image. Like, going back later, I saw the swish. I'm like, oh yeah, I thought it was like a bobsled or something. But right here, UFOs. It says UFO as in an object. And this is one of the earliest mentions I can see of that. You normally see it more with Japanese media, or really any other country talking about America. They'll call a flying saucer a UFO as an object, but then they also say flying saucer weaponry. So flying space weaponry. I guess my brain auto-changed that. But yeah, I always found that funny. Especially now we have the term UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon, which was to replace UFO because how it was being used and seen in the public opinion. Which I'll admit is a better fitting word for the type of things that are described. But eventually it's just going to become the same thing. When I'm an old man, they're going to be calling them UAPs as a noun. Now look, something else I noticed is the image is actually curled over a bit there on the back. So a little bit of it got cut off. This one would have been pretty big. It would have actually shown a bit even more of Reedy and been even more to the right. You can even see right here in the 60 cent, it's curled over. I didn't notice that before. That's awesome. Okay, so we open this girl up, and you have this cool classic ad for some old D&D miniatures. They remind me of the ones me and my friends would make out of clay and cardboard when we started playing, before we started investing money into it. Take your imagination to a new level. You got Orc War Base, size 12 by 18, Dungeon Invaders, I guess that's it, you just get 2 sets. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons action sets. Well, that's cool. I really like seeing the classic D&D stuff. So it starts out, Stan Lee presents Team America. Las Vegas, midnight. The infamous strip is resound with frivolity, but muffled footsteps echo in the almost barren back streets. Footsteps muffled by fear, and there's a letter there to Jim McDonald, aka Honcho, being mailed by this very nervous little blonde fellow. And I'm going to tell you now, this guy and all these guys, I would call them, I mean, not that guy, but some of them young adults. This book refers to them as children. So he's trying to drop off his letter outside the pizzazz, and someone yells, "Traitor!" And all these other young people surround him. And he's like, "Minister Ash, I can't explain." Silence. To whom did you mail that letter? Jim McDonald. He's a biker, a member of Team America. You should have not betrayed me, disciple. From dust did you come, from dust you will return. And he like smacks the guy. And he turns into like this cloud of dust. And he's like, "Eee!" Like an Archie character. He starts walking off. And I don't know if these red, if this is like stain, or if that was meant to be part of the art like blood. Come, my children. We can retrieve that letter now, without drawing needless attention to ourselves. We will deal with this Team America in our good time. So they just kill the guy and walk off. And I will remind you, the letter's right here. It's right here in the post box. He feels safe enough to kill this guy right here and walk off, but not to just open up the mailbox and get the letter. And a lot of this story is going to revolve around that letter and them wanting it. And wanting to know what's in it. Again, it's right there. He's breaking the law right here. I would think that's more serious than tampering with U.S. mail. And right away, the motives of the suspect are a little sus. And you have this awesome open piece, Dust to Dust. And it looks like he's on a tricycle. It never deliberately talks about this bike or what it is or what they're doing. So I really don't know why they have a tricycle all of a sudden. You know, they're struggling to keep their bikes going, but they're going to make a tricycle. Wear the wheels out faster and then not have a way to dodge. So he's like, the desert outside Las Vegas, noon. And it's R.U. Reedy on the bike. And don't worry, he's not going to say any horrible epithets this week. Man, talk about speed. That was the fastest desert trial run I ever ran. Team America will burn up the track when I give a repeat performance during tomorrow's race. Jealous wolf. And he pulls up. And see, this is why I said, because look, right here, I guess he's transferring off onto a normal motorcycle because you kind of see the trike in the background. And really interesting stuff you think they would talk about, but no. So, Wolf replies to him is normal, moody manner. Never. You are beneath the notice of El Lobo. You mean El Loco, macho mouth? And now he's suddenly, I don't know, he took his helmet off and put a jacket on and he's on a bike now. I'd love to see you fall flat on your face during our time trial. But Honcho and Cowboy are already sampling the Vegas action. So he wants to go grab him some of that action. And you got Honcho here, he's rolling some dice. And Are You Ready means to grab some. So I guess he is hot for the action. So 7, shooter wins again. So Honcho, he's got this big stack of prizes now. Oh, look, he's at the Pizzazz 76. That's all for me, Luther. I'll cash in now. He's like, as you wish, Mr. McDonald. So moments later, I think that's like pointless. Like you can just deduce he walked over there. He's putting money in his pocket. And he's like, ready to go, Cowboy? And Cowboy's not having a good time. He's angry. He's pulling that machine. Just a sec, pard. I've got my last quarter riding on this. Zink, ding, 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 bah, 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 bah. Darn it. And this, as he's walking out here, this guy is holding a letter from the box outside. They just walked outside and grabbed it. The dude mailed the letter in a mailbox outside of this place to this place. So he's like, Mr. McDonald, Mr. McDonald. But he doesn't hear him. He's consoling Cowboy. He's like, dinner's on me tonight, Cowboy. That's right, friendly of you, Honcho. And so you open up and you got some ads that we've seen before. And you've got the Bubble Yum kid from last week. And still hate this kid. I'm not going to read that again. If you want to see me read this again, watch our last Team America video, number 9. And you can see here someone dog-eared the page. I don't know if that one's intentional or not, but man, do I hate when people do that. So, Honcho's going up to his room, and that's funny, they all managed to rent rooms. So, Tex is lamenting over his blue balls here. He's like, too bad we gotta get a good night's sleep for tomorrow's race. I'd like to hunt a filly after dinner. And Honcho tells him there's always tomorrow night. And he's like, my door's slightly open. Someone's inside. So he pops in, and the dude has zero chill about it. And he's like, hey! He's like, oh! Turns around, he's like, stay back! I won't let you capture me. And he's just like, who are you? What do you want? He's like, I want dust! And he jumps out the window. He's like, look out the window! And he's like, I came from dust, and I'm going back there! And he's falling like halfway down. You see he has a fist there. He hits himself in the face with something, much like the guy got hit with earlier. And Honcho is watching him fall. He deliberately jumped, but why? Good Lord, some kind of cloud seems to be enveloping him. And Reedy pulls up in time just to see some clothes falling. And it says, and below, as Reedy looks up. What the? Why is Honcho throwing his old laundry out the window? He's like, yep, shit these pants again. So Tex comes in to check, and he's like, what's all that ruckus about, partner? But Honcho pushes him aside. I'll fill you in later, Cowboy. Right now I'm headed for the street to make sure I saw what I think I saw. And you get out to the street, and Reedy's hunched over the clothes. Seconds later. Hey, Honcho, what's with the dusty old rags? They could ruin your reputation for souvenirs. And he's kind of like doing one of those hand whispers. He's like, Reedy, I don't know what's going on. But when those clothes left my room, they had a man inside them. And Reedy's like, what? Whoa! Hey, you're not kidding. You're really shook. And that shakes me. You're usually so infallible. And the guy from earlier comes up. Join us. Join the children of dust and find peace. And I like how they're just outside, they don't notice this, and these two tourists are like pushing their way by. Where'd all the freaks come from, Esther? Oh, aren't they quaint, Otto? They all come up surrounding them. Spare change, spare change, spare change, spare change, spare change. They're all asking for money at once, and Reedy's like, go away, leave us alone. And one of them gives a good old fist to the back of Honcho's head, while the leader tells him, no, we have come for James McDonald. And he's like, Honcho, if he's hurt, I'll... He's like, you'll do nothing, fool. And they all start grabbing Reedy. You are nothing, and we are many. My disciples allow no hand to be raised against me. So you must be thinking right now, this guy has some wild powers. These people are over him. He's like, you see, I am their prophet, their savior. I teach them the meaningless truth of life and death. I instruct them in the way of the dust. To the dust. I teach them to live with the futility of life. You must also learn of life's futility, because it's most futile to challenge us, as this sleep dust will most assuredly convince you. And he has this old balloon he's squeezing in his face. It's like, poof! Reedy's starting to pass out. Would that this were the true dust that would take you to your final reward? Perhaps next time. And Reedy's sitting there passed out on the strip. Let us go, my children. Woe to the city of sin. Doom shall descend upon it, and it can only be saved by the children of dust. So you get to this little ranch, and part of me feels like this is inspired a bit by Manson, but I'm not gonna, because that looks suspiciously like their ranch. So, an ancient ranch outside Vegas, dusk. And Honcho comes to, and he's in this, I forget what it's called, it's like a stirrup or something, where they lock your head and your hands together. He's like, huh? Where? Sleeping kids all around me. How did I get into this madhouse? And you see there's some, what I would describe as younger adults. I mean, they look like, but I guess they're kids, maybe they're teens. They don't draw them that way, though. And the way this girl coming up is drawn, like, if she's a kid, why are you drawing kids like that, bro? So this woman, like, pulls herself out of her freaking drug-induced haze. You woke up, handsome. Want to have some fun? Sure, get me out of this, beautiful. She's like, I don't need to. All I want to do is, and she starts reaching between her huge titties. And they did the nipples hard, yes. And remember, according to Honcho, this is a child. And she pulls out this weird knife, and she's like, open you up and see how you work. He's like, sure hope you ain't as messy as the last one, as she lunges for him. But someone comes in and gets her at the last second with a hand to the head. He's like, stop. And you can really see like how they drew her here. They were really focused on something. You know, I get told I draw melons a bit big sometimes, but Jesus. Like, god damn. That guy was just sitting there spending a lot of time, especially the shading. There's like extra detailed shading on them compared to some other areas. So it's just like, he's like, yeah, these must look perfect. And they look like traffic cones. So it's the head guy there, and he's like, I made it clear that this one was not to be harmed. Are you anxious for the dust, girl? She's like, I'm sorry, I forgot. And please forgive me, Minister Ash. And the other hippies are sleeping through it. So he grabs Honcho by the bridle thing, just starts dragging him. So he's like, you are forgiven, now leave us. And Honcho, as he's dragging him off, is just like, some sweet racket you've got here, Ash. And Ash is telling him as he's sitting him down in the next room, my little colt? Yes. I'm really quite proud of it. And Honcho tells him, and this dust nonsense? You're full of questions for a dead man. And he does the supervillain thing of not only telling him, but demonstrating his power. And he has gloves on, despite not needing gloves earlier. I guess he doesn't like touching rodents. And he's like, I have created a haven for the bored. Self-indulgent rich. A religion that justifies pure hedonism. Oh, so Hollywood? You create Hollywood? They donate all their worldly possessions to me. And I become their master. As he's sprinkling this dust on this... they say it's a hamster, but, I mean... I don't think they were looking at a hamster when they drew that. And it crumbles to smoke and dust. And he's like, As for the dust, I'd hardly call it nonsense. And Honcho's shocked. These are some of the best drawn faces in here so far. He's like, oh, the hamster. And Minister Ash is just like, I discovered this compound in my chemistry days. It dissolves living cells on contact. I could use it on you, McDonald. Where is the letter? And I like how he's just holding the smoking hamster, interrogating him in his chair, like, where's this letter? And he has no idea what you're talking about. Where's the letter you left in a mailbox at the beginning of the story that was 5 feet from you, but you didn't want to pick up for some reason? So Honcho's telling him, I really don't know what you're talking about. Do not anger me. I had you checked out. I know you used to work for the CIA, and I have already destroyed the agent you planted to spy upon me, Joseph Gao. So he's like, you're crazy. Gal and I never worked together. We hate each other. And then a swack. Oof! Do not lie to me. His letter could link me with many serious crimes. We shall continue this interrogation until you give me the cooperation I require. Unlike you, I have all the time in the world. And apparently you do. I think you did this just so you could mess with this guy, honestly. And you're exposing yourself more. It's like, yes, I have done many incriminating things I will now link myself to. Like, this guy could honestly just be sexing and drugging it up with teenagers, and this is what he chooses to do with his time. So, you get more of the ads we've seen before. And then you have this cool, the adventure is yours, Dungeons and Dragons. And they're just trying to get you to buy it. And these drawings of the kids are, it looks like they traced the photo, like, as low as they could. But I really like the adventurers here, because you have, like, a really motley crew. And I love these old adventurers before all the tropes we had today are set, because, I mean, like, first off, look at this one I'm assuming is a cleric, like, with that high coat, his nose is poking out. He looks like a Shikamaru from Naruto. And you have, like, this grandma with a beard. But this woman, I thought she had long legs at first. And then I realized, oh, wait, that's not like a weapon. That's a horse's head. So, I don't know. I guess she's a halfling on a pony. And you might remember in some of the previous Team America episodes on the channel, they actually had little comics for Dungeons and Dragons. A few of them even repeated, but there aren't really any in this issue. I guess they just gave up on that. Maybe they moved them to a different issue. So, Las Vegas, dusk. Reedy's there. He's got an ice pack on his head. He's talking to the cops with Lobo and Honcho. What do you mean you can't do anything? And he's like, pal, last time we busted Ash's cult, we brought ourselves a half-dozen lawsuits. Lost them all, too. DA's got a standing hands-off policy now. He sued us because he's got a bunch of rich kids. Isn't that like pedophilia or something? Yeah, but he's got money, so we're going to let him get away with it. So, we'll turn the case over to the county, but don't expect too much. So Reedy's just like, that's it. Looks like we'll have to rescue Honcho ourselves. And Lobo just cuts in from off panel. He's like pointing at his word bubble. No, rich boy. Honcho can take care of himself. El Lobo is a racer, not an adventurer or a nursemaid. At least they notice he's gone this time and want to help him. So Leonard and Georgina are there kind of talking together. This is like the most they've gotten along in issues. And Leonard's just like, wrong, Wolf. We gotta take care of our own. And Georgina's like, Wrench is right. We're family. And of course, Texas immediately just jumps on Georgina's nuts. And is like, you sold me, Georgina. I'm going after Ash. You coming, Wolf? And this is probably like my favorite part of the whole comic. He's just sitting there staring and he's like, a savage grunt is El Lobo's only reply. He's just like, grr, amigos. So there they are outside their compound there. Ash's ranch, midnight. And Tex is there. He's got his lasso, so you know he's ready for it. Come on, partners. Septin' for this adobe wall. We got us an ordinary ranch. Bustin' in will be a piece of cake. And there's 2 guards here, and his solution is to lasso them. That doesn't incapacitate people. They're still very loud later. But so he lassos him and he's pulling on him while El Lobo goes and starts wrestling that guy. He's like, but they won't present a problem. And these guys don't yell at all. And Lobo's just slugging one. Whomp! These are mere children. They are weak and soft. I feel like I am wasting a punch. And they're probably so high you could have just pushed them over. And then Tex leans over and his shadowing kind of destroyed his face a bit there. He's like, you can do a little more wasting if we don't get any cooperation. You gonna help us, son? And he's like, yes. And they're taking him into this next area. So the way this is drawn, this is an adobe wall. There's the stars. There's a fire. It kind of looks like they're inside, but they are outside. That's kind of, I think that's why they explained there being the wall earlier. And so, moments later, now's our chance, guys. Everyone else is so busy with their party, they might not even notice us. Don't forget that I'm carrying flares, in case we have to signal for help. And you might wonder, who is he going to signal? That question's never answered. Everyone's here, so he's like, bah, El Lobo needs no help against fools like these. And coming up is one of the most baffling parts of the story to me. Because, you know, they came in here, they're in the corner, they can just sneak off this way. But this is what happens. I guess they immediately, the first house they go by, the fire's like right here. So they walk right here from where they are over here. And this woman comes out. But just then, hey, you're cute. Let's make some action. What's your sign? He's like, maybe some other time, babe. But she throws herself on him. She kind of looks like a Jackie from Three's a Company. And she's just like, hey, don't be shy. Live for today, you know. He's like, let go of me. Get up. So Reedy falls over and Lobo grabs the blonde guy. He's like, what did you do to him? What? Tell me. I'll snap your neck. And Reedy, as he's falling, he's like, her lips coated with some kind of drug. And that guy that they had hostage is laughing now. He's like, ah, ha, ha, ha. Cowboy's just there, like, really looking tough. He's like, hey, our hostage is freaking out. I think we got a problem. And then all the hippies start surrounding him. Instantly, even before another word can be spoken, we're surrounded. Something tells me we've been had. So, yeah, you walked 10 feet in and blew your cover. So they start punching their way out of these people they call children. This one kind of looks like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. So Cowboy's like, the two of us won't last long. There are more cultists on the way. One of us must remain free, Cowboy. And Lobo's like, I am the strongest. I can fight longer than you. Go while you still can, as he punches Shaggy in the face. So, you know, these guys might not be able to beat Captain Planet, but I guess El Lobo the Wolf can beat Shaggy. I bet you didn't expect a Shaggy power scaling joke this far in the future. So, Honcho, he pulls out his lasso and he lassos this little chimney pipe. And he's like, can't say I like your logic, Wolf, but you got a point. And he starts pulling himself up like Spider-Man. I guess the guy who's doing this like, I just want to draw Spider-Man. He's red and blue. He's on a string. It's close enough. So he's like, come on, Wolf, hurry. Grab a hold of my rope. And maybe we can both get out of here. And Lobo's like, no, leave me. I am where I need to be. So Cowboy's just like, no use. They're all over him. He's going down like a duck in a carny chute. Uh-oh. Someone's behind me. So I guess there was some guy up there waiting. I don't know, maybe sleeping on the roof looking at stars. And Honcho grabs him and does a weird throw over his shoulder. Forget it, hombre. Maybe we made a mess of this here rescue operation, but I can still beat the likes of you. And he thinks to himself, he was alone. Gotta make tracks before I'm spotted again. And it's something really rare here. Normally you see the bubbles, like the 3 dots for the thought bubbles. There is the word slash going to the bubble, and then from here is one of the bubbles to indicate that is a thought bubble. And I cannot really think of any other instance in comics so far where I've seen it done like that. That's a very interesting transition. So, Ash's private lab, 1 hour past midnight. So they've got Lobo and Reedy in these tubes now. He's like, good, you're all awake. McDonald, since you've been uncooperative, I had some special quarters rigged up for your friends. He starts pumping some dust in the tubes. He's like, at the touch of a switch, they are covered in dust. I used ordinary dust this time, but next time, their fates are in your hands, McDonald. He's like, do I keep hitting the switch until my special dust is released? Or do you tell me what I want to know? He's like, look, I've already told you everything I know. You disappoint me, McDonald. I was certain you wouldn't sacrifice your own teammates. And Reedy's just like, this guy's even crazier than I am. Wolf and Honcho may be helpless, but me, my flares should light things up. And he lights his flare, I guess, in the tube that he's locked in. That guy's like, that sudden light, where did it come from? Because they didn't search him at all. And Honcho uses the opportunity to jump up and hit him with that wood thing they have him in. Whomp! And he's thinking to himself, Reedy managed to distract Ash. He's given me a chance, and I'm going to take it. So I've noticed they're using that thought bubble thing a lot, but these ones are with other thought bubbles. But it's just making me wonder, did they get someone else drawing this one? Or working on this one? You never see that before, and now it's like again and again. That's funny. So he lunges forward and he smacks his thing into Reedy's tube. And Reedy's like, hey, watch where you're throwing that glass, huh? I'm fine being trapped with fire, though. And Honcho tells him, sorry, I'll be neater next time. You're next, Wolf. And then it just skips to Wolf prying that thing off of him. Seconds later. You did good, Honcho. Let me return the favor. Somebody had better grab Ash before he recovers. And Ash is indeed, he's like... I mean, they took the time to do a lot. And again, Reedy's standing around doing nothing. He's done that a lot this issue. And they're just, Reed's like backing up to a table. I guess slightly getting knocked in the chin really took it out of him. He's like, fools! From dust you came, from dust you shall return. And Lobo just punches him in the face. Just, silence, pig, whap! And he drops the tube and Reedy ducks for it. He's like, look out! Ash was fixing to sprinkle us all with his death powder. And when someone's set down in the corner like that and you do a downwards punch, you can do quite a devastating blow, too. And while these are normal people, Wolf, I mean, he has a propensity for violence. He's a top performer when it comes to beating the crap out of people. And I would really like to see a slugfest between him and Wolverine. I know, like, Wolverine majorly outclasses him, but it would just be cool to see, like, Wolverine let him go on for a minute and then just destroy him. So you have this Christmas Spider-Man ad again. Oh, so I said before, I hate when they have these coupons you can cut out. Like, look, you cut that one out, it's going to take, like, some of the main action. Like, this is one of the most important panels for the story. Well, I found out why they did that, and why they started doing the inserts. So the comics where they did this, the cutouts, back when those comics were made, they intended for a kid to buy this, like a newspaper, read it maybe once or twice, and throw it away. And then you get a new one. They didn't think of holding on to them, collector's values. Oddly enough, I guess no one wanted to go back and reread their stories. So later on in the 90s and whatnot, when you have the inserts and whatnot, even in magazines they have the insert, because they were intending for you to hold on to that product longer and to use it more often. I thought that was kind of cool. Like, because I've complained about that a lot on the channel, and finally, in all my reading comics on this channel, I found the reason for it. It was how they valued the media. So, next page. What exactly is that stuff, anyway? Honcho's just like, it's our ticket out of here. Ash's disciples aren't scared of much. But I'll bet this dust scares them. And so they come in, and Honcho's like, chill down, Ash. We don't want any more trouble. He's like, that's a pity, McDonald. Arise, my children. Crush the unbelievers in our midst. And they're all packed in the corner. You heard the minister. Get them. Reedy comes in, shaking that can like a woman with a jar full of pennies when she sees a bear. Hold it. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Move back, or this jar might hit the floor. It'd be funny if you knocked the lid off and just got it all over him doing that. So the minister's like, do not fear, my children. Even if you return to dust, I can return you to life. Destroy the unbelievers. I don't think he can do that. Great. What do we do now? I mean, we can't really kill these kids. And a giant lasso comes out around all of them. And he's like, don't think you'll need to, pard. And he's like, cowboy? And he's there. He's taking his shirt off for some reason. Looks much more ripped now. Right, I got these turkeys hogtied. So let's put a move on, partners. It's time to make tracks. That's not hogtied, and you have to take your rope off them to leave. So then the guy goes and he like karate chops the thing. Swat! He's like, cretins, you think you've won? But you shall yet be mine. He just slaps out his hands. He's like, yips! So, Ash's little maneuver worked. He broke free while I was trying to keep the canister from falling. Yeah, it's great. He's right there. He's right there. Well, he broke free. They're all just standing there. And Lobo's like, look, more cultists. They're all half naked too. So I guess everyone's are just standing there for the fun of it now. We best forget about Ash for the moment. And vamoose if we want to save our hides. And Honcho's like, Cowboy's right. Split up. We'll be harder to find that way. Meet back in Vegas and good luck. So they all just run off like a bunch of kids who get caught at night breaking into a Walmart. So meantime, Team America has forced my hand. After they return to the city, police will come for me. But even before that can happen, Las Vegas will be annihilated. I do not think they're going to come for you. I mean, the whole thing earlier is they wouldn't come help you. Let's see what happens. So he gets in this plane with spikes on it. I had planned to prophesy the destruction of the city, so that more might be attracted to my cult. But that is no longer possible. And he gets in the plane. My dust will pour over that mecca of sin, like purified rain. Burning, dissolving. So yeah, he's just going to pour his dust out and kill everybody. So he's like, purify the land for my people. And who are his people? I guess anyone that'll listen to him. He's like, that noise behind me, like rolling thunder. Who is that? He is called Marauder. Dun 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 dun. And he jumps, catching the plane. I don't even think this is the first time he's done something like this. Like a grim, dark-clad angel of death, the silent cyclist has appeared. Within mere seconds, his incredible, powerful racing machine brings him abreast with the taxiing plane, and then he leaps. I think it's a little Cessna. And the plane does a flip. Man, he's really high up there too. Then, despite Ash's best attempts to dislodge him, he inches his way towards the flight cabin. Slowly. Treacherously. He's just like crawling along the wing, I guess. I mean, like, he's just flapping right here. Devil, you must have come from Hades itself. But even you will not stop my sacred mission. Even you will fall to my dust. And he throws the dust right in Marauder's face. With no gloves, mind you. And he's just like, no, it's not possible. Nothing can survive my dust. Nothing human. Perhaps the dust never touched Marauder's skin. Perhaps it does, and is powerless against one such as he. So he's just such a badass that chemistry doesn't work on him. So he's like, I can't fight a demon like you. Schmack! Smashing forward, the cabin door causes Marauder's grip to falter. It is actually really hard to open the plane of a moving door. But he does not fall, so he holds on, and that guy, I guess, jumps out with a parachute. I've won, Devil. The ship's controls are locked. Las Vegas is doomed. So I guess it's just going to fly over and crop dust. It's a crop duster now. Ignoring Ash's distant laughter as he's parachuting off there. Beautifully drawn angle and scene right here. I really love this one. The black-clad figure struggles into the plane. Trembling from strain, his tortured body threatens to collapse. This is just a really great perspective here. I mean, it gets everything. Ash is falling off. He's crawling in. Look, he's over there. But he gets in there. He's over the town. Numbly, he slouches into the pilot's seat. And only then becomes aware of the endangered city below. Gears squill against gears, defying Marauder's efforts, as he desperately battles to unlock the frozen controls. But then, just before he abandons all hope, vroom, it cuts up. And you can see he goes up and down, and somehow, I don't know, there wasn't like a thing that was going to release the dust. Maybe he's just hoping it'd crash and the dust would come out. Later, far beyond the unsuspecting city, Marauder brings the craft down in the desert. Leaping from the still-moving plane, he sets it afire. And just assumes fire will destroy it, but he sits there like a badass, clenching his fist, watching it. And watches as Ash's dust is consumed by flame. The threat of his deadly dust is past. For now, he's like. And I actually thought this was the end of the story, but there is a bit more. Yeah, this ad for the New Mutants, where they got like some sort of tiger dog. And it looks kind of cool. I mean, X-Men was like one of their biggest comics at the time. And this is when they started trying to make more money off that. I mean, I'd read it if I get some of these on the channel. I really want to do X Factor first, though. I read one of those already, and man, was that great. You have another one of these bullpen letters? I'll let you read this one yourself. I mean, this one's really funny. I'm going to just include what he said here. Beyond that, we're supposed to make sense with them? Sheesh. I guess what I'm really trying to say is that it's easy to be an artist, especially a comic artist, and as proof, I've worked up the accompanying sketches to show anyone can draw comics. Trust they speak for themselves. Enough said. And you got Angry Hulk, Sad Hulk, and Hulk Dead. So, would you read that comic? That's got to be satire. You have this cool free t-shirt. And the t-shirt does not look nearly as cool as the flyer. And that's where I was pleasantly surprised, because you got a little bit more story. I don't like when the villain gets away. So, Las Vegas, dusk. It figures, we gave the police the goods on Ash. Yeah, and by the time they get out to his ranch, the place is stripped clean, with no signs of life. That makes us look like jerks. If I ever lay hands on Ash again, and some guy's there and he finally gets Jim's attention, and he's like, Mr. McDonald, you've walked by me 4 times, please take this letter. This letter arrived for you yesterday, and we've been unable to reach you before now. He's like, well. I like the idea that, like, it was mailed outside of this building. Those cultists waited for the mailman to pick it up, deliver it to the building, waited till Jim should have had it, and then went into his room. It's like, just why? So much why. They could have just got out of the box again. They could have just stole the mail. And Reedy's just like, is it something important? Not that important, Reedy. So, Honcho's like, in a manner of speaking, a letter from an old friend. He thinks to himself, this must be the letter that Ash wanted. Now, I don't think anyone else knows about that. I think they did Honcho's hair the wrong color here. He's like, do your gawking in your room, Honcho. This rig's heading up. He's like, I don't want to hold the elevator for you. So, moments later in Honcho's room, so he was thinking to himself as he enters the room, and then they catch him, and he's interrupted. So he's like, I didn't want to endanger the others. I think what's in this is, and he's like, Ash, and they grab him, and he pulls the letter. He's like, yoink! He's like, I'll take that, McDonald. Thank you. This has been the easiest way to do this. So they're all holding him. One guy's just holding him, like, passionately by the hair. So, no one can tie my cult to this illegal activity without this letter. He doesn't know what's in it, by the way. He's got gloves on again. I can gather my people together and strike anew. Nothing can stop me now. He's like, stop, don't open that. Because he knows what's in there. He's like, silence. I am Ash. My destiny will not be denied. He's like, quickly, Ash rips open the letter, and then, you know what's occurring to me is the guy that sent Honcho the letter knew he was staying at the hotel. And he's just like, no, it's not possible. It was dust. Gal had stolen some of my dust. My precious deadly dust. He was trying to kill you. Instead, he has killed me. And he turns to a skeleton. He has like the most dramatic death. But yeah, it's just a sweet skeleton. This is sweet panel, sweet death. I'm going to give it to this guy. Probably best death in this comic so far. And I mean like the series, the Team America series, not just this issue. So then everyone piles in. And it seems like there's a lot less hippies now. Honcho, are you all right? We came running as soon as we heard that horrible scream. What happened? It was Ash. From dust he arose, and to dust he was returned. That guy's crying. The end. Got some temporary tattoo ads. So, you know, Gary Larson's thought he had all the answers. Oh, he got an ad for Riddle of the Sphinx. People hated this game. Gary had an IQ of 162. He never got anything less than an A on his report card. He was a whiz at chess. Then it happened. Gary plugged Magic's Riddle of the Sphinx into his Atari video computer system. As Gary slowly, carefully made his way across Egypt's mysterious Valley of Kings, he was attacked by rock-throwing thieves, plagued by scorpions, and tortured by his thirst. Yet he went on. After passing the Sphinx, the Temple of Isis, the Great Pyramids, he reached the Temple of Ra, where he presented all his treasures. Unfortunately, he did not have the correct offering. Ra was not satisfied. Gary had to go back and try again, and 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 again. Here you see Gary, as he is today, a veggie, zonked out totally. This is a warning. Magic games are created by experts for experts. Do not try to solve the riddle of the Sphinx if your IQ is equal or less than your belt size. After all, a brain is a terrible thing to fry. I don't think anyone's... Like, dude, honestly, even if your IQ is higher than your belt size, there is no belt size for a healthy IQ. Like, oh my god. Still, though, this has been a hilariously great issue, and probably one of my favorite Team Americas to date. I really enjoyed bringing it to you, but I don't have too much more to say to this that I wouldn't do better in our final thoughts. Oh boy, howdy, how'd you like that one? Did I tell you? I loved it. I absolutely loved it. My only issue with this one, honestly, is there's a few parts in the story where it's like, oh, how'd that happen? Like when they're all fighting and Cowboy's just suddenly like on the roof. Like what did Cowboy doing in the entire comic honestly achieve? It was kind of funny. The other thing that stood out to me, of course, was Leonard and Georgina. They didn't fight in this one. They kind of said something like they were talking together, but there was more of both them just saying something to someone and the other one talking after them like twins in a poorly written cartoon. It was kind of funny. It's like, yeah, we're not going to fight this week. Of course, Tex jumped on, I agree with Georgina, so I thought I'd start, but they stopped doing that, which I'm wondering if they're going to bring it up. Like, is that relationship drama going to continue to play out to the end of Team America? Or is it just going to fizzle off like it has in this issue? It's really interesting in this comic in general because we know it ends. It actually failed. It's a failed comic. So when we get to the end, we get to the 12th episode, we're going to see how it ends. And then we'll have one more episode with the Captain America issue before we move on. But I don't know, I'm getting really excited. I'm really curious how this is going to end. And I'm just really excited. It was honestly the perfect comic to read after last week's episode, freaking Alberto. Again, Chick Publications is just very wordy comics. It's very redundant and preachy, and you need something like this. Once again, this is going to be one of those times I say this was a perfect comic. If you're going to show someone one issue of Team America, this is the one. I think they'd be really disappointed reading some of the other ones, but like again, if I wanted to explain to someone what a comic book was, this is one of the comics I'm picking. This is the one you should read. I mean, I do love Team America. I love the team. It's a little sad they didn't work out, but I also see why. It was just great. It was a great read. It put me in a great mood. And I'm really excited to do next week, which again, Hellboy, The Wild Hunt, issue 6. There's only 8 in that series, so that series also is coming to an end. And if you've watched any of my shorts, I'm sure you've seen that I have a heck ton more of Hellboy comics. And, we'll probably be replacing his time slot with one of those. Team America will probably be me finishing up Crimson Dynamo here soon on the channel. and then we can just start on other stuff like Batman or something. That I haven't got to do hardly any Batman on the channel. I don't think I've done anything with Batman in it so far. Oh wait, the Superman Red Sun story, it had Batman in it, but I'm not gonna count that. That whole story was just references. Still though, this has been a great issue for me, a great week, and I hope it has been for you too. If you've made it this far in the video, as always, thank you. That greatly helps me out. And as always, if you have anything you'd like to say to me, if you'd like to like, subscribe, any of that, it greatly helps out my channel and helps assure that I will be here week after week to provide you with more wonderful stories. But until we meet again, stay safe out there and have a good one.